Now for the second part of sketching Leonardo DiCaprio, our main focus will be shifted from hairs to forehead, eyebrows and eyes. So we are going to draw first of all highlights to the hairs which were missing in last part or first part. If you have not watched the first part, the link will be in the description bar, or you can also find out on my channel. So after making hairs, the main difference between a good hair looks and a little bit flat look is that how you use highlights. Highlights are made when light or light source comes directly to the hairs or any part of face or anything, and in that parts, one part will be little bit more shadowed and the front part will be little bit highlighted because light is directly towards them. So for the hairs, for highlighting them, we are going to use a mono eraser. Mono eraser is the best tool you can use to make highlights. You can also use it on any part of portrait or any type of art to make little bit highlights, because it is too small to make those smaller pores on skin texture, face structure and any part of hairs and any part of things. So while drawing also. So mono eraser is the best tool, and if you want to know how I have made this complete tutorial in real time, how I have applied pressure to different type of portions of hairs, face structure, and how I used eraser, how I sharpen pencil, how I make graph, everything is available on my second channel, which is Shwet Sketches 2.0. You can find out this real time 10 to 12 hour sketch in those channels. So if you want to learn this complete tutorial in native language like Hindi, you can also check out my channel of Shwet Sketches 2.0. You can search also, you will find out, or channel link will be on the description box. So now for making a forehead, our main focus will be on how the skin tone is going on, like it is little bit mid-tone, dark tone or light tone. So the face structure and the skin tone of Leonardo DiCaprio is a little bit more lighter as compared to most of the artists, or not artists, it is like faces. That was a mistake of mine when I said artist, but most of the people are a little bit more mid-tones like me and most of the people. But the person that I am making right now is Leonardo DiCaprio, and skin tone of Leonardo is completely white, or you can also say that a little bit more white as compared to mid-tone, which is not as dark and not as light, but face structure and skin tone of Leonardo is a little bit lighter. So to make a little bit lighter tone of any type of skin tone or any other thing, you should always use H pencil as a base layer, and H is the lightest pencil. And to make more lighter, you should use a technique which is cross hatching technique, or you can also use that little bit tilted pencil, as I am making my pencil and I am holding pencil in a tilted way. I am not making direct to the pencil because it will give me a little bit more grayish look, and if I will directly apply pencil in a straight way as most of the people do, it will give me a more tilted or more darker look, and I don't want that, right? So I have applied less pressure and tilted my pencil, and I have also sharpened my pencil on the artistic way. The artistic way sharpening pencils are a little bit different, and if you want to know how I have sharpened my pencils using blades, I have also uploaded a complete tutorial for it on my channel also, you can check out that. So after sharpening, just apply a little bit pressure and make a base layer. As we all know that we have made outlines, so we know that where to stop shading and where to add more volume or more darker looks. So after making the shade as a base layer, we are going to use tissue. Yes, tissue, as I always use a earbud or any type of different type of blending stumps and this thing, but this time particularly I have used a tissue. And trust me, while using a tissue is a complete way of making your sketch into a more beautiful and realistic sketch, as your base will look completely flat, and a flat complete look for a base layer is most important thing. But when I have used a blending stump or brushes, makeup brushes and this type of things, and blending stump on face, those were making a little bit more strokes were visible. But when I used tissue, it was giving me a completely flat look for my base layer, and base layer was looking too beautiful. So using a tissue is also a technique. So after blending with a tissue, I'm going to use a second layer, which is a 3B pencil. So 3B pencil on the only darker parts, but before 3B pencil use a B pencil or 2H pencil. Those were a little bit more darker as compared to 2B. So as compared to B, sorry. So after using those base layer, use darker parts like 2H pencil on the left side and right hand side part of forehead of Leonardo. But leave center part, as the center part is having a little bit more lighter tone. So for the left side part and right hand side part, use 2B pencil or 2H pencil and again blend it using tissue. You can also use a blending stump for the third layer or second layer, which is more darker, and this layer is completely dark, only dedicated to the darker parts of face like eyes, eyebrows, left hand side part of forehead. These are a little bit more darker, so use a blending stump. I am telling blending stump, not earbud, because earbud will give me a little bit circular look or rounded look, but I want a little bit flat and straight because there are smaller parts which are darker. Not completely forehead was darker, but smaller parts were a little bit darker. So using blending stump, I can have those smaller parts into a little bit more realistic look. So applying low pressure will help you in every parts, and mono eraser on the center part of forehead is more appreciated as compared to any other parts, because center part of the face were completely white or light sources directly on the center part of face. So obviously left hand side part and right hand side part will be a little bit more darker. So using mono eraser you can also apply a little bit skin tone, skin darkener. If the darkened part is a little bit more darkened as compared to the portrait that you are using, so you can use mono eraser. So after making this type of parts, we are going to use a base layer for eyebrows. So yes, you have heard right that we are going to make base layer for most of the parts or most of the face structures like ears, nose and lips. Every time you should use a base layer. Don't leave base layer, because base layer will help you in every parts of face or make more realistic look. If you are an intermediate or beginner artist, you should know that base layer is the most important thing, because it will give you a more realistic look. And for example, if the building's base is not good, so of course your building is going to die, not die but deconstructed. So after this type of things, make base layer always. And now we are going to focus on eyebrows and eyes. So for the base layer we have used H pencil, and then again we are going to use a sharpened 2B pencil and making the direction of eyebrows. So starting of the eyebrow will be a little bit hairs going on upward and left hand side. Center of eyebrows will go completely horizontal, or smaller hairs will look a little bit upward, but the downside part or the end part of the eyebrows will make hairs into a downside. Or what I mean about downside is that those hair will look on downwards, not upwards as the front part of eyebrows were going on, but downwards. So you should see the directions where the things are going on, and after watching the direction, makes base layer as we have used a 2B or 2H pencil. Then again use 2B pencil for the hairs. Just make hairs, don't blend it right now. After making hairs, use a makeup brush, not any other tissue or any other blending stumps. Use a makeup brush because it will blend your eyebrows to the other part of face. And then again use the same technique to the eyes also, as we have made outlines in previous video of part 1. Just make outlines into a main thing, which is blending of makeup brush and skin tone of the eyebrows. So darken the only parts which you see a little bit darker, as the eyelashes, center part of cornea, and these are the parts which are a little bit more darker. So darken only these parts, not every other parts. With 2B pencil, blend it with the other parts like upper part of eyelashes and these type of things, or skin tone. Just blend these two parts, and then again use 4B or 5B, or you can also use 8B or 6B pencil for the center or cornea part of eyes. It will help you give more darken or shadows look. So after these things, apply same technique to the both eyes and your sketch will look completely beautiful. But you have to keep on focusing where the darken and lower parts are. Don't just directly go for darker look. Make 1, 2, 3, 4 as much as layers as you want, and we are going to meet you in third part. So that was all for this tutorial. If you have learned something from this video, subscribe and drop a like. And comment down your question and queries regarding this tutorial. Meanwhile, take care of your loved ones too. Have an artistic day. Tattoos.